I'm going to get on that later on in the show. Actually, you know what? Because I'm so mad, let's just get onto it now. Let me just get all my frustration and anger at this fucking poxy club out of the way before I start with the #1 cultural commentary show in the world. Let's just get that out of the way. Bumba-rotted. Okay, so United played Leicester at home in the 4th round of the FA Cup. It's probably our only chance for silverware, realistically. It's still a very hard cup to win, but I think if you weigh the chances between us winning the Europa League and us winning the FA Cup, I've said FA Cup, I think there's more likelihood that we could win the FA Cup. We could probably scum win that instead of the Europa League. I think the Europa League, there's still enough good teams in there that could probably give us a bit of trouble, and we probably wouldn't get too far as soon as we face the good teams. You saw how much we struggled against Rangers. You saw how much we struggled against Steaua Bucharest. So I'm not that confident I'll be able to do well in the Europa League. But the FA Cup is a good chance for trophies. Now, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this trophy mentality some of our United fans have, especially at this stage in the club's process. I think trophies usually paper over the cracks. I don't want us to be like Arsenal, where every year we're just progressing and there's no trophies to show for it. But I also don't want us to be a glory hunting trophy team where as long as we win a trophy, the season is deemed to be a success, even if we finish 13th. I don't want that. I basically want everything. I want us to perform well on the pitch. I want there to be good signings. I want there for the players to improve. I want it to be a discernible improvement in the coaching. And I also want us to get results and obviously get trophies. I don't want us to just get trophies and then do away with the performances. That's not what I want. That's why we got rid of Erik ten Hag. Because Erik ten Hag was the master of winning trophies with this shit team and with these shit signings and with shit tactics. I don't want it to continue on. I've had enough of that. And the evolution that we need to go through, like every team's going through now, like Liverpool are going through, is playing champagne football while also trying to win things. That's what you should be trying to do. Anyway, I digress. The team selection for this particular game against Leicester was very weird, considering the signings that we had. Because let's not cut any corners. The January transfer window for United was horrible. Terrible. We signed a player from Lecce no one heard of before we signed him. And we signed a youth player from Arsenal called Heaven, who's going to be playing at centre-back. So we signed 2 very young defenders, unproven in the league, unproven at this level. That's not a good enough transfer window, especially when we get rid of Rashford. We send flipping Anthony on loan. That's not a good window for me at all. We needed a lot of signings, and I really don't understand. I'm really confused why Ineos would go out of their way, would try so hard, pay the compensation fee to get Amorim out of his contract mid-season at Sporting Lisbon to bring him over to United, not to give him the players that he needs in January to play the style of football that he needs to play. It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, Amorim is also to blame because I don't think he signed without that knowledge. I think the club told him, hey, when you come here, there's going to be no money. If you sell a player, you can use that money to buy a player, but the only thing available is going to be a small bit of money, maybe some loans, but there's going to be no big money for big signings. So when you come, you have to make do with the players that you have. So my feeling is that he still hasn't done enough with the players that we have, but I still think we are not 13th for a reason. We're not 13th without a reason, sorry. We are fucking terrible. So if we're fucking terrible, give this manager players to play his football or just write the season off. I don't get it. Anyway, we continue. So we signed Dogu, who's this great attacking fullback. Again, I've not heard much of him, but he's this left-footed fullback that's meant to be, you know, a starter for our team. We line up with Dogu playing as a right wing-back. Can somebody explain how that makes sense? You go all that way to sign a left wing-back, to play your style of play, then you play him on the wrong side. Then you play Dalot, who's terrible as a wing-back anyway, on the other side, even though he's right-footed. What does that make? How does that sense that makes? I guess what he wanted to do was to get those 2 players to cross inside, to cut in and cross the balls with their left foot on the inside of the pitch. But surely you'd want to bring the best out of them by playing them on their preferred flanks. So you switch Dalot and Dogu either side. Either way, I thought Dogu played pretty well in the first half. I think he was probably our best attacking outlet. Every time Dogu got the ball, I felt like he looked after it well. He was adding a bit of a threat. He was drifting inside and becoming an extra man in the middle. Like, he played fairly decently. So I was surprised when he got subbed off after the first half. But regardless, we're already 1 goal down. So maybe Amarin was panicking and trying to do something to get a reaction out of the team. No problem. The only issue that I had was that in that first half, I don't think we registered a shot on target. For all our quote-unquote domination, we didn't register a shot on target. And you know what's funny about this game? This game reminded me of the Crystal Palace game in the league. Leicester didn't even play that well. Leicester didn't have to do that much to score the goal. But they were comfortable until half-time. They were comfortable. They scored the goal. Well taken goal, actually. I think that guy for Leicester, El Khanouzi, who plays number 11, who plays in the number 10 position, I wouldn't mind him at United, you know. He looks tidy. El Khanouzi looks tidy. He looks like your standard Middle Eastern Arabic player in terms of his ability to like control the ball with his studs, roll the ball, drop a shoulder, nutmeg, step overs. He looks really good in that number 10 position, and he's got a bit of an engine on him. He got the ball on the side, on the left-hand side, I think, rolled the ball, kind of did a little jink past Euro, which is kind of concerning, by the way. Euro looks like he's a bit susceptible to a little bit of a drop shoulder. If somebody drops a shoulder to Euro, he goes fucking spinning. So he spun around, gave some space. He crosses the ball in the middle. I think Ndidi hits the ball. It hits one of our defenders. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, who was it that smashed the ball in? I think it was Decoy Overeed. Yeah, I think so. I think that was the player that ended up scoring the goal for them. So against a run of play, really, first half. But then again, we're so shit that I don't, begrudge it. Overall, it was a terrible quality game, by the way. Let's not get that twisted. Then, of course, in the second half, changes are getting made. He brings on Garnacho for Dogu, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think Zerski comes on later on. And the game kind of changed with Garnacho's substitution. You have to give that guy a lot of credit. Although he's very frustrating, there's a chance that he could have probably passed it, but he went to a shot. The one thing I like about Garnacho is similar to something I like about Anthony, who's unlucky to be sent on loan, to be honest. I think manager should have used him a bit more. The Garnacho thing is like, he's got tenacity. He's always getting on the ball. He always runs at his defenders. He's not afraid to keep running at his defenders. Even if the defender's got him in his pocket. Even if the defender has Garnacho in their pocket, Garnacho still runs at the defender. And I love that about him. I love his courage. I love his ability to get back up and keep running. He definitely has a good engine on him, but the end product is a bit meaty. The end product is a bit meaty from Garnacho, especially the chance that he had where the defender cleared it off the line. Good clearance for the defender. He kind of just hit it, and he was lucky to hit the crossbar and it came out. But I think a good player, a top player in that position, would have probably dinked it over the keeper. Would have probably gave the keeper the eyes and knocked it the opposite corner. But they would have finished it without the assistance of without any assistance or without the defender clearing it. They would have easily chipped it over the goalkeeper. So I think his inability to have a good finish in that position was a little bit concerning. But still, give him all the credit. He played pretty well. He impacted the game. And essentially, I think he set up the assist for Zerski's goal, if I'm not mistaken. Zerski as well was really good when he came on. Looked after the ball amazingly well. You can't say the same thing for Højlund. Højlund looks like he needs a break, but we can't give him a break because the team is struggling so much. But Højlund needs a break because he's looking so shit. His first touch is like, honestly, hospital first touch. It just keeps going and it's just insane how bad his first touch is. His lack of movement, his lack of aerial ability threat. Although he's like 6'3" and built like a shit brick house, like he just isn't getting about the pitch well. He keeps picking himself up off the ground. Like he's just looking horrendous. So if I was Amarin, I would just persist with Zerski. Zerski isn't like pulling up any trees himself, but he's definitely the better option of the two. And just keep playing Zerski until he gets some form. He's already got a goal now. And then just leave Højlund on the bench because he needs a break. He's looking very bad. He's looking low on confidence and just terrible as a player. Forget the confidence, just terrible. And then another thing that needs to get also mentioned is the winning goal by Harry Maguire at the end. We probably didn't deserve that winning goal. We probably did not deserve that winning goal. Very lucky. If we had VAR, that goal wouldn't have stand. The linesman, I don't know what the fuck he was looking at. He was looking at the line directly. He was in line with the line of defenders and attackers, and somehow he missed that 3 of our players were offside. 3 players were on the other side of the line, impeding the attacking play. He didn't call it, but you have to give Harry Maguire also credit. Excellent header, by the way. Very hard header to do, but excellent header. Far post, knocked it into the ground. It went into the bottom corner, so a really good header. But again, I think that was lucky. That papered over the cracks. I'm happy after the game. Amarin in the post-match press conference was very angry, clearly very frustrated. He didn't do what Erik ten Hag would have done, was be like, oh, it's a good performance, eh? Like, he didn't do all that nonsense. He was really straight. about how, and honest and blunt about how the performance wasn't good enough. How we always have to kind of go down to get started. Like, I like how angry he clearly was about that performance, because watching it as a United fan, I just couldn't understand why these players couldn't get going. And every time we kept the ball, we were meandering at the back, passing the ball from the left to the right, to the middle, to the left, to the right, to the middle, back again. Sometimes our players would get the ball like Maino in space. And instead of running into space, you'd turn back and pass it back again. Like, we just look awful. And part of me is going to blame the Glazers, because I still think the reason why we're here right now in this current position playing as badly as we are is because of the Glazers' decision to give Erik ten Hag a contract extension at the end of last season. I think the smart, sensible thing would have been to sack Erik ten Hag in the summer after the FA Cup win against Man City, shake hands, send that fucking board forward on his way, and then give Amorim the summer and the pre-season to go with these players, get who he wants out, and sign these players. Man United board didn't do that. Ineos didn't do that. Instead, they gave that fucking cunt a contract extension. He signed more players. We come into this season playing as bad as we are. 10 games into the season, we're already, I think we were 8th when Amorim took over, and basically the season was already written off. But I have to also stick some blame on Amorim. He came in I think on the 11th game, and I don't think it's been good enough. I still think there's enough of the season left for him to have done better with these players. But I'm also not ignorant of the fact that if this clearly elite manager who was doing bits at Sporting Lisbon, winning the league, smashing teams in the Champions League, and doing what needs to be done there, if that guy, and I think he won the first league for Sporting Lisbon in many, many years over there, so he's clearly a top manager. If he's struggling with these players and we keep sacking managers, then surely these players have something to blame. I don't think these players included. I think I overestimate or overhype these players. The reason why we are playing this way is because these players are shit. It's not their fault, but I think they're shit. And they're playing to their max of their ability. But it's just weird how the board aren't giving Amorim money to buy the players that he needs to play the player we need to play. But Amorim still needs to get more out of these players, because unfortunately, we're not Arsenal. We can't just let him develop and, figure it out. We need results. We need them quickly. We need performances. We need them quickly. And I guess, as he said, all the players and the coaching staff are on trial until the summer. And, in a perfect world, if it was up to me, I'd want us to get knocked out of every cup competition. And I'd want him to focus entirely on the league. Have the entire week to coach these players on the training ground. And then we play, our Premier League games every weekend. That's what I would want. Fuck the Europa League, fuck the FA Cup. Just focus entirely on the league. But our fan base is, obsessed with trophies. Some of our fan base wants us to finish in the top 4 still, which is fucking delusional, which ain't going to happen. I don't think this squad has the ability to try to win it, try to finish top 4, try to win the Europa League, try to win the FA Cup. We just haven't got it. We haven't got the players to do all 3. We have to choose 1, at most 2. And personally, if it was me, get out of the cup competitions and focus on the league. In a really ideal way, if I was really going on my black pill shit, I would say fuck everything, and I would want us to lose every league game and get relegated. Because if we get relegated, the Glazers might leave. They might sell the club because we're not making them any money. That would be ideal. But then I wasn't sure if the fans would like it either, whatever. But regardless, an absolutely terrible game of football. I don't think you'll see a worse game in the FA Cup, even against lower league sides. Terrible, terrible quality from both sides. Leicester, even though they played well, probably didn't deserve to go through either. We're terrible. They probably should have killed us in the first half. Garbage game. We got away with murder. It is what it is. It is what it is. I fucking hate this club. I absolutely hate this club with all my heart. I swear to God. I hate this club with all my freaking heart. I really do.